Mom, get the camera. It happened again. Make sure those tears are visible on the film this time. Yes, it happened again. A indie game, literally out of nowhere. Who asked? Came out and completely, once again, destroyed, demolished, completely humiliated the AAA woke gay slop gaming industry. And well, I love it. And I honestly think I have figured out why that's happening because let's be real, there's no better time to make a hit indie game than now because look at what's happening around everywhere. And by that I mean social medias, YouTubes, Twitters, even Reddits with the updates. You know, that place. Which is pretty cringe. But in any case, whenever something comes out and people really love it, there's this army of people ready to make YouTube videos, Reddit posts, Twitter things, and so many other things, just so they can try to farm likes and views and all of those things, which I'm completely not doing, obviously. No way I would do it. I am a saint. I am holier than thou, okay? I would never do anything even remotely close to being morally questionable, and you know it. I would never lie to you. But in any case, everyone wants to get a slice of the pie. Is it updates on Reddit to feel better about their miserable lives, or it's making money on YouTube like I am definitely not doing? Everyone wants to talk about the thing that everyone likes because, I mean, it's free real estate. At this point, everyone knows that's how you get famous. The more above water your opinion is, the more trudging the line and inoffensive it is, the better it's gonna be. And well, there's nothing more inoffensive than a hit indie game that's just fun and people like. And so everyone's gonna spread news about it and things like that. And well, it's gonna be a major hit. And that's exactly what's happening. That has been happening for quite some time, but it's only now that I figured out how to put it into a barely coalescent sentence. Let's be fucking real about that one. But in any case, nice.
This is insane. This game has done everything wrong, but it's still winning. In the middle of the busiest release schedule of 2025, we are talking about some of the heaviest hitters in both indie and in AAA. A little game called Mega Bonk comes out of nowhere and is sold so consistently and so regularly and has so many players that are...
I have 30 hours on Mega Bonk. I started using the bandit before it became the meta because I was like, wait, there's so many things that scale with attack speed and literally attack speed only, like the dagger. And this guy has attack speed. This is so much better than literally any other thing that you can get in this game. I'm in. Plus, the rapier is really good.
Playing it, that it is now directly competing with Borderlands 4 and Ghost of Yōtei. We're talking about games.
Well, you shouldn't be playing Borderlands 4 and Ghost of Yōtei because those two games are ass.
That have spent likely hundreds of millions of dollars just on their marketing budgets versus a game that spent literally nothing, at least that's the way it looks from my perspective. This game's success is entirely organic. It's grass-fed. It's homegrown. It's a game that was relatively unknown, only had a few devlogs on YouTube. It has now become one of the most talked about and played games this year, and it hasn't stopped yet. You know, if I was working at one of these AAA companies...
I had 30 hours of fun with that, with Mega Bonk. It was great. Unlocking the stuff, thinking how I can get a world record. Never did because, well, let's be real. Fishing for an anvil and a magnet on stage 1 is kind of fucking really boring. But other than that, I have been high positions, 0.something% of the top player base. Was fun, had my share, was really good. Also, I predicted the rise again of the bandit and the Tome of Size. That's right, boys, the Tome of Size. Because when you need attack speed and you're just killing things because you're proccing the stupid dagger multiple times, well, when you're overlapping, that's extra procs for the dagger. So Tome of Size it was. Pretty good stuff instead of the Tome of Damage.
If I was on their board of executives, I would have a lot of questions, because while these guys keep talking about how prices need to go up on just about everything that they have, it looks like they're wasting money to me, because you have a guy.
By the way, one thing that I have not seen people do, I never corroborated is this going to be the future of Mega Bonk, but dragon fruit or dragon fire or whatever that thing was called. It's the legendary item that has like a 15 or 25% chance per hit to create a fire zone. Now, maybe that melts PCs, but I'm pretty sure if that thing scales with attack speed and AoE, and, you know, duration and all of that good stuff, and it can proc the Dugget, that's insane. That's literally one more active damage skill, technically, that you can get that just one-shots things. That would be insane.
Solo developer, yet again, that made a game that's based off of memes in one of the most saturated genres in all of indie games, and he's making them look like fools. So today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the success of Mega Bonk, and how against all odds the game that did everything wrong is somehow actually doing everything right, why a game like this has continued to grow, and why I think they planned it all. But before that,
well, I guess they did. I guess they did plan it, right? But in any case, boys, like the video right now and hype it up if you're on a mobile device. Doing that takes less than a second, and I greatly appreciate all of you. It truly helps out the channel, it helps out me, it makes me a little bit more happier, and it's a nice thing to do. So thank you for everyone who does that. And if you think that these conversations are important and more people should know about them, well, you're in luck, because if you like the video right now or hype it up on a mobile device, I can guarantee you more people are going to see it. You have the power to actually do so, and it's a pretty big deal. So do it right now. Like the video. Thank you. And thank you everyone who has done it. Truly, thank you.
Things I find so fascinating about these indie success stories is how almost none of them are ever alike. Sure, they might share a genre, a theme, maybe a budget, but they almost never share the exact same set of conditions that make them blow up. Schedule 1 was passed around because it had its free demo, a absurdly long offering of over 80 hours of gameplay just in the demo alone, and the only reason people found it was because they started pushing it on streamers like Queso. Palworld was an incredibly fun game on its own, but its over-the-top tone and its controversy with Nintendo turned what could have been an obscure indie curiosity into one of the most talked about releases in the past 5 years. Balatro, Expedition 33, we can continue to go down the list, and it's going to be the same. In almost every single one of these cases, there was some strange hook, some defining trait that helped these games to rise above the rest and make traditional marketing feel entirely pointless. These games didn't succeed despite the system, they succeeded outside of the system, reaching heights that some of the most expensive AAA releases in recent years can't even touch, even after spending hundreds of millions of dollars trying to buy the exact same attention. Which brings us to the latest success, and honestly one of the weirdest ones yet, Mega Bonk, developed by a solo
What's so weird about this? Vampire Survivors, but, well, different.
Going under the name Vedadad. For whatever reason, if you guys haven't heard of this game, it's a survivor-like that's built off the exact same formula that was popularized by Vampire Survivors, a genre that has completely flooded the indie space at this point. We are way past the point of saturation here. Every theme, every IP, every niche seems to have one of these games right now. There's Hollow Cure with its VTuber cast, Deep Rock Galactic Survivor, Heretical, which is essentially Diablo as a survivor, Halls of Torment, 20 Minutes Till Dawn. The list doesn't just end. So when I say that a game like this shouldn't have succeeded.
I love these games, by the way. Vampire Survivals obviously is a great one. Soulstone Survivors is actually amazing. Soulstone Survivors has literally probably close to 150 fucking hours of gameplay if you want to unlock everything in. And, you know, test out everything. Well, actually, if you want to test out everything, it probably has even more inside of it. Mega Bonk is obviously great. Dead Must Die is a little bit niche, but it's really fun. The builds, the things that you can do there are very, very intriguing.
I mean it, because there are just so many of them out there, and while a lot of these games do just fine, true breakout success is an entirely different story when a genre is this crowded, but Mega Bonk did it. As of recording this video, Mega Bonk hit a peak of over 117,000 concurrent players on Steam, but it didn't start there. It launched at barely 3,000 players. It doubled that number the next day, then it climbed another 5,000 and 10,000.
By the way, this game only took 1 year to develop. So 3,000 sales for how much did the Mega Bonk cost? 8 €8 with the discount, 10 without it. So that's already technically 30k. 30k is probably pretty decent, but now we're literally at millions of sales. Oh boy, this guy just got rich. 1 years of work and imagine you're rich.
Almost every single day until it broke 100,000 players. That kind of steady day by day growth almost never happens. And once you look into how this game actually reached those players, it starts to make perfect sense. The first thing, and probably the most obvious, is the price. Yet another game that's sitting at about $10 or less, making it easy entry point for just about anyone. It doesn't feel like a commitment. It's cheaper than
Imagine if this had a prestige player price like $80. Yeah, no one would have bought it.
McDonald's, and with it being on Steam, if you don't like it, you can just refund it. Nothing here is making you feel
By the way, this is half of a Silk song. Just for comparison, this is half of a Silk song, and it's completely worth it.
like you're locked in, you're not married to the game, something that we cannot say for a majority of the games that have released recently. Now, on top of that, during its launch week, the developer put it on sale for $8. Imagine that. It's actually something that I've seen more and more indie games start to do lately, and it's incredibly smart. It gives people a reason to take a chance right away. Why do they want to buy today? That's a question that some of these developers need to be asking themselves, especially right now when we are in the middle of a huge flood of releases, most of them $70 games with hardware.
He's showing Ghost of Yōtei and Borderlands 4 like these games are not fucking disasters. Ghost of Yōtei's sales are abysmal. Borderlands 4, if I'm being super generous, needs to sell 2 times more copies than right now, and then it's gonna just break even. Which doesn't breaking even doesn't even mean that you're gonna be able to make the new game. By the way, you're just breaking fucking even. Yeah, why are you showing these games? They're bad.
Prices that are skyrocketing around them. People do not have a lot of extra cash that's sitting around right now, but $8 or $10, I mean, anybody can scrape that together without a second thought. Now, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I think
Now, true fans would find a way to buy this game even if it was $100. Any picture is such a stupid clown.
Mega Bonk is some revolutionary leap forward for the survivor genre. I've been playing it, I've definitely been addicted to it, but what I think really sets this game apart is that it's fully 3D and it heavily leans into mechanics that have been ripped straight out of Risk of Rain 2, which I love, by the way, because it's a game that I have over 1,000 hours into, and, well, that also makes me realize just how dangerous it is for me to be playing a game like this. But movement and positioning play a massive role in the game. You got to think about how you're traversing the map and how your abilities work. The game heavily leans into meme culture with characters and items named things like Mega Chad, Burgor, and a tree boss named Bark Vader. The game
Mega Chad. Wait, isn't his name? His name is Giga Chad. He's just blatantly Giga Chad because there's no copyright on that. I played that character at the start, dude. He has the was his name actually Mega Chad? No, it was Giga Chad. It was just straight up Giga Chad.
is just really lighthearted, absurd, and fun. And honestly, that's what sold me on the game because there's just so many full-priced games out right now that require 70 hours of progression even to feel like you just even started the game. They take themselves so seriously, and guys, I'm just kind of tired of it at this point. I just want something I can jump in and jump out of. I don't feel like I need to make time for it. I feel refreshed after playing it. I don't need to memorize controls or mechanics, and it's what makes games like this so great because you can just learn by feeling. And game feel is something that's just entirely lost on this industry right now. Hell, I largely don't even need to think while I'm playing this game, but that doesn't mean that the game can't get serious. Mechanically, the game is incredibly simple, but you got to make sure that you have a solid build by the time you reach each stage's final boss. Otherwise, you're just going to get hammered. You got to have the movement nailed down. You got to have multiple layers of protection stacked up. Otherwise, you're just going to get one shot by the final boss. It's the kind of game where every single choice matters, and that gives it a very different flavor of challenge from a lot of other games.
He's not surviving this one.
And the music, that's another thing too. Dude, the music in this game has no business going this hard. It is way too good. It is so easy to find myself just trapped in a trance, disassociating and looking up and seeing that hours have gone by. But none of those things are why this game actually reached players. That's the
Wait. You know what I think is the secret to actually Mega Bonk being such a success? I think it's I haven't heard anyone actually talk about it, but I think it's not a super easy game. Mega Bonk, every single time you lose, the feeling is always exactly the same. A little bit more, just a little bit of a percent better. If I did not die exactly and I had it. And I think Mega Bonk is really good at getting that exact feeling that you just want to hit play again, because you're so close. You're always so close. You're just a millimeter, a millisecond, a nanosecond away from achieving a top score. You're always so close. You're always exactly right there. And that's a fucking massive thing about Mega Bonk. Because again, every single time you die, you just want to play again because I was just unlucky a little bit more and I would have had it. And that's the feeling always. And I think that's the reason why Mega Bonk is so addictive.
Foundation. That's the stuff that made it all possible. But what really pushed this game into the spotlight was something entirely different. See, Mega Bonk didn't have any traditional marketing. What it did have was a developer that was uploading their devlogs to YouTube. Actually, scratch that. There was only one devlog and a handful of YouTube shorts that completely outperformed that long form video. These shorts were brilliant. High colored thumbnails, bubble text pulled straight from tweets and YouTube comments, meta humor showing players asking for new mechanics and characters, and the developer showing that they were actually making it for them. Later ones started showing these players beating the developer's high score in the demo, and there were other ones that were showing people breaking the game entirely with busted builds. And then there's also this mystery behind the entire thing. A lot of people believe this game was made by Danny Dev, a YouTuber that vanished about 3 years ago. The developer's name, Venedad, is literally Danny Dev spelled backwards, and the thumbnails and the editing style are almost identical to his. Whether it's actually him returning under a new name or it's somebody that just perfectly studied his playbook, it worked. The videos hit the exact same mix of humor, creativity, and accessibility that made Danny Dev's channel blow up in the first place. And while I've been watching this entire thing, I realized what was actually happening. This, my friends, is pure, unfiltered social media marketing genius, and I love it. Take a minute to think about it. Those videos that are suggesting features, and then he shows that he put those features in, they invite more people to comment with their...
Wait. Every single social media marketing is genius if it just lucks out and succeeds. God, I hate marketing so much.
own ideas, which then boosts engagement and feeds the algorithm.
But somehow, because probably Satan willed it, marketing is the second most important department in any big company. First is obviously finance. We are the chosen gods of the universe. It is what it is. Listen, you can be the top programmer of your firm, but if the entry-level fucking analyst says that you earn too much and need to be fired, my man, you're getting fucking fired because finance chooses everything. We are gods. We deserve it. It's true, though. And you deep down know it's fucking true. And after us, it's obviously marketing. Which is probably the saddest part about being human.
The videos that are showing the leaderboards and the broken builds, that's encouraging more players to share their own footage in hopes that the developer might feature them next. It's a self-sustaining loop of curiosity and recognition. The audience is shaping the game, the developer is shaping the content, and the cycle just keeps feeding itself. They made a game for the players, and now those players are marketing that game, which means the next step was only a matter of time. Streamers. Nearly every major streamer on YouTube and Twitch have been playing Mega Bonk, and all these guys have been addicted to it. I only found out about the game because somebody popped into my live chat and asked me if I had tried the game yet. I said that I hadn't heard about it, and they said that they had found it through those same YouTube shorts and brought it to their favorite content creator, and that's exactly how it spread. The same thing happened with Queso, Moist Critical, Shroud, Quinn69, and eventually Asmongold when he came back from his
Quinn got an item in this game, the clown mask.
break. Glad to see that guy's doing all right, by the way. Once those streamers got into their hands, visibility hit critical mass. Each new creator that picked up the game brought in more players, and the numbers just kept climbing from there. And now this loops us all the way back to gameplay, because remember what I said earlier, it's the foundation, not the catalyst. Mega Bonk has insane replayability. Each level is broken up into 3 different areas. Those 3 areas have 3 difficulty tiers: challenges, quests, unlockable items, characters, weapons, tomes, skins, maps, secrets. It's stacked with...
Yeah, to be honest, the unlocks and progression pad are really well designed at the start to keep you hooked, interested in just unlocking new characters and weapons. Now, granted, after that, you don't give a shit, obviously, but it's really good at enticing you at the start to giving you a goal.
a ton of different content. Combine that with how fun the game is and how mechanically satisfying it is to play, and now you have something that's hooking in players for weeks. So as visibility grew, the new players weren't dropping in and leaving. They were staying. They were playing daily, sharing clips, streaming it, and that created this cycle of growth that just built upon itself, a perfect storm of fun gameplay, streamer exposure, and social media momentum, something that the rest of this industry desperately needs to learn from, but they likely won't. Out of the huge slate of AAA games and just games in general that we've seen release over the past couple of months, I have played Borderlands 4, Hades 2, and Silksong. And after playing Borderlands 4, I felt like I needed to take a week-long break before I even tried to dip a toe into playing Dying Light 2. And while there are AAA games that I like, right now I'm in the mode of I've seen it, I've been there, I've done that. I've heard this story before, and there is just so much time commitment and so much time between when I can actually get to the content, the heart of the actual experience, that it just makes me go, no, I'm just really not that into it. I want a digestible game. And Mega Bonk, that's a digestible game. I think there's something to that. I think it's not that there's too much or too little content with some of these games. I think it's the speed and the frequency in which you can actually reach the content and how quickly you can actually enjoy it. That's how you keep people playing your games. That's how you keep people talking
I mean, as long as the content's good, through.
about your games. You know, this entire first week that I've seen of Ghost of Yōtei being up and around, a lot of people are just sharing how pretty the game is. And while you can definitely sell copies,
True. I mean, he watched my video. He knows what's up. The only people who are saying good things about Ghost of Yōtei are, but they don't say the bamboo game. See the flowers. Fistic mechanics. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, you autistic spurg. Thank you. Opinion ignored, though.
based on how pretty something is, especially in the case of Ghost of Yōtei, a lot of people are waiting on the content. And the longer it takes...
By the way, the fact that NVIDIA literally came out and said that people are choosing to play on 0 fucking pixelated graphics settings, if that means more FPS. And game designers are like, no, we need to make the game pretty. That's what gamers care about. The fact that we literally have proof that gamers care about optimization and performance more about anything else, and you get Ghost of fucking Yōtei. Oh, look at the field of flowers that has literally nothing in it. Pathetic.
To get to the content, the less interested people are going to be in the game, the less it's going to be a part of the discussion. And that's exactly how you lose momentum. The marketing for this game is just genius. That's all it is. This developer knew exactly what they were doing. The minute they saw those YouTube shorts take off, they abandoned the long form videos. They focused directly on that. They answered player feedback directly. They implemented their changes into the game. So when the players finally got their hands on the game, they got exactly what they had asked for. And people love to talk about getting exactly what they want. That's like 90% of social media today. It's people that are talking about getting exactly what they want or being mad that they aren't getting what they want. If you tap into that, you're going to find success. I think that's the best part of it, because
yeah, pretty much.
When a game pops off like this, the players aren't just playing it. They're sharing it. They're clipping it. They're talking about it because it's theirs. They own it. That's not marketing. That is just organic momentum. That is interest, real interest. And that's something that you just can't buy. And that's something that AAA keeps trying to do. One of the things that I think really helps sell these recent indie successes is the genuine desire to be a part of something that is real. Players want to be in on it early. They want to be the first ones to find out about the next hit surprise before anybody else does. Communities then form around that, and there's something patently authentic about that experience, almost nostalgic, like the days of midnight launches or meeting friends in line while you're waiting for a game that you're all excited about. It's the same feeling of shared discovery, of genuine excitement, and it's something that you cannot manufacture, though many of publishers are trying to do so right now. Something that is not necessarily new but feels more blatant than ever is how inauthentic the excitement around certain games have become. Take the upcoming Call of Duty Black Ops 7. The hype behind
What fucking hype? Black Ops 7 is dead before arrival. Oh no.
this game feels entirely forced.
God damn, that scares you.
Especially from content
Look at this. This game is so bad they literally the developers of Call of Duty 7 probably played Starfield Shattered Space and they were like, "Whoa, House Maroon is so cool. Nothing about them makes any fucking sense. Nothing is explained. Look at them. They tattoo their eyelids. Why? Nobody knows." Andreja, by the way, who's also House Rune, she doesn't have tattoos. That doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. They all tattoo their face for no reason. It's never brought up or explained. But they're different. Different. Okay? They have no emotions. Even though they show the full spectrum of autistic emotions, which is not true, so. And, by the way, having a group of people or something that lack a single emotion done right is, as it turns out from my experience when I first encountered this reading Shadow Slave, when you actually have a person who lacks a single emotion and how fucking perfectly it has been done, because every decision that that person makes is alien yet perfectly understandable. It's so great, actually, that you have a situation where someone has a character or a group of people who lack an emotion, and it's actually done well. And there is no point where you're like, oh no, they have this emotion. It's just a bunch of fucking lies. Oh my god, it's so well done. But now, obviously, House of Rune is fucking not that. They're a bunch of retards who can challenge challenge toddlers to an honorable 1v1 and take all their shit after winning. And that's completely acceptable. It's autistic. And Call of Duty literally looked at that and said, yeah, we can do that.
Entirely forced, especially from content creators and the marketing itself. And I'm not talking about...
Well, okay, to be fair about Call of Duty, there is something positive I can say about it. I'm surprised they don't have, like, a cripple in it.
Paid sponsorships or brand deals or even talking money under the table. I'm just talking about being performative. I mean, how is anybody supposed to take any of this enthusiasm seriously when we're talking about a series that has spent years now eroding player trust? This franchise has been slop farming its audience for over a decade. The trailer has over 500,000 dislikes on YouTube.
To be fair, you know what? I'm not even mad. It fucking worked. It worked. I don't care because I'm not a COD player.
Yet we have content creators and Activision that are both trying to desperately convince everybody that this is somehow the best Call of Duty ever. Everywhere I look right now, I'm seeing videos and posts that are trying to convince players that Battlefield 6 won't last, that Call of Duty deserves another chance, that this one will finally be different, guys. These guys need a hotline is what...
By the way, I'm going to upload after this video, there's going to be a Call of Duty 6 video because... the launch is very interesting. It's good, but it has a couple of interesting things that, you know, I'm interested to see how they play out. Because there's some things that are not currently going as you would expect from a massive successful game.
They need. But what we're seeing here is fear. It's a collision of circumstances where longtime creators who have built their platforms around this series need it to be able to stay relevant, while Activision is genuinely threatened by real competition. Black Ops 6 is at its lowest player count in over a decade. Reports are saying that Microsoft lost $300 million putting the game on Game Pass.
Good.
Both sides of this are trying to cling to the exact same sinking ship, each one pretending like it's still sailing, and they are hoping that you will start rowing. The result has been this strange corporate hollow atmosphere, one that's probably going to do a lot more harm than good. The harder they push this forced enthusiasm, the more it's going to just drive players away. And when you're releasing a new Call of Duty every single year, it's not an event anymore. It's just a transaction, a routine, and no amount of empty...
True, all of this is true, but at the same time, it worked for years. So I can't even blame them, okay? I can't even blame them for doing this because it worked for years. Well, yeah, of course you can release a slop every year if your competition is Battlefield 5 with a double crippled redhead fucking World War II Giga Chad woman. Bro, of course you can release slop and people are gonna buy it. There's no competition.
Excitement is ever going to change that. And what I think makes this all the more hilarious is the games that aren't screaming for attention are the ones that are getting it right now. I mean, Activision and Microsoft are burning hundreds of millions of dollars trying to fake excitement. Mega Bonk did it all for free. People actually cared. People wanted to talk about it because they actually wanted to. Streamers played it because they were genuinely curious about it. The conversation wasn't scripted, it was spontaneous. That's the difference. Mega Bonk feels like a game that was made for its community, not a product that was being sold at them. It wasn't designed to dominate engagement metrics or check off corporate KPIs. It was just fun. And that's
the bandit is gonna predict your trajectory at the last shot. Or two of the last shots sometimes. So while you're avoiding the first, second, and third shot by going aside to him, he's always gonna hit you with the last one.
enough to make people want to share it. AAA can spend all the
Unless you start moving in an opposite direction.
money in the world, but if the players don't believe in what they're selling, well, it's just noise. And I don't think these guys have realized it yet. The constant releases, the endless sequels, the recycled franchises, they have no motion. It ties back to that been there, done that fatigue I mentioned earlier. We have seen these games before, and they're running out of tricks to be able to play, to be able to try to keep us interested. Hell, now more than ever,
By the way, not mentioning the score pussy is a sin.
they don't even entice us with anything new. The only thing they have left is to sell is nostalgia. Half of the excitement around these games anymore is the faint hope that the series might return to form or listen to player feedback. Those phrases by now have already lost all meaning. Players' expectations are so low right now that it's just borderline apathetic, and that's exactly why these indie hits are so big, and that's why they're thriving right now, because for once, we don't know what we're getting. Expectations. Now, there's a conversation we should probably be having, because I don't know if you guys have noticed it, but as somebody who follows nearly every major release every single year, whether that's just tracking the news, the reception, or actually playing these games, one of the biggest factors that I've seen in a game's success has almost always come down to expectations. And more times than not, it is the price that is setting it. Remember earlier when I was talking about how it's not a matter of a game having too much or too little content, but how quickly you can access it? I think it's the exact same logic that's applying to quality, or at least how we perceive it before we actually even touch a game. Price is shaping that perception. How do you get people celebrating a game like Mega Bonk? Easy. They spend $8 to $10 on a game and they get something that massively over-delivers. It was deeper, more competent, and way more fun than anyone expected for a game that looks like it costs $8. It's a surprise, a pleasant one, and it makes players feel like they've been given something, not sold something. You can feel the developer's appreciation baked into it. The directive there was to make money, sure, but not at the expense of the player's experience. When I think back to a game like Expedition 33, that's another one that released at $50 and it punched way above its weight. I don't really care about the vernacular here, indie, AA. Expedition 33 was a AAA experience, or at least what we should actually be expecting for AAA games to actually be like. Something mind-blowing, something you remember, something you want to come back to over and over again. And when you play a game like that, it feels like you've been gifted something by the developer. That $50 investment doesn't just feel worth it, it feels like you stole the damn game. And I think that games like that come from a mindset where the price isn't even on the developer's radar. That focus is just on the experience, and that sincerity then transfers directly into the player. Hell, they just announced that they're going to have a new free DLC celebrating selling 5 million.
Oh, hell yeah. Free DLC at this point? I did not actually know that. That is probably the smartest move ever, because this is a thing that also not a lot of people capitalize on at all. And that is the fact you have a game like this, and it's really popular. A lot of people fucking buy it. And then a lot of people forget to play it, they play it later, or some people are like, well, the hype has ended, so what's the point of me playing it now? And then you, bam! $10 DLC, free DLC, even better. And now people who thought that, well, the hype's gone, I don't want to play it now, they can play it. They can play it, because the moment the DLC drops, people are going to be talking about how great the original game was, and probably how great the DLC is.
Copies with entirely new dungeons, bosses, enemies, and costumes. Again, money was never the priority. The customer and their experience were. Now we turn our eyes to AAA. $70 sets an insanely high bar that most of these companies will never reach. And honestly, regardless of the economy, I don't even think games should cost that much to begin with. That price tag creates a cycle of impossible expectations. You sell me a good $70 game one year, now you got to do it again the next year, only bigger, flashier, and somehow better. The problem is, most of these studios are completely out of ideas. They've lost the talent that actually helped them earn that first $70, so now they have to compensate with graphics, higher fidelity, bigger worlds, higher budgets, all to make a game look like it was worth my money when it clearly isn't. You know what? At this point, I would argue that that $70 price tag has actually flipped our expectations. Nobody believes in it anymore. Our expectations for a $70 game aren't sky high, they're buried in the dirt. We know exactly what we're buying. A game that has put a premium on its expense, not on our experience.
I mean, it's so rare nowadays to actually look at a game and be confused. Are you interested in it or not? It's blatantly visible at this point. Are you gonna enjoy something or not most of the times? Anyway, that was Legendary Drops 10 out of 10. Bye!